All right, so I saw the CBS video from a few days ago, and let's go through it. I haven't I've seen the link and everything. I haven't actually seen it except for the first few seconds, just to test it. And so let's go read it now or
The
listen to it.
unofficial sound of an autumn Saturday morning, the leaf blower. Now, many cities
Nah.
and towns across America are banning them because of the excessive noise and air pollution. But as CBS News environmental correspondent David Schechter found out, turning down the noise is not as simple as it seems.
Yeah, that's what's absolutely frustrating about it. It's like it's super noisy. It's so obnoxious, and it's it's some big fight. It's like just stop making the fucking noise. Anyways, let's go.
The serenity of a crisp fall day in the Pacific.
Never happens because it's always they're gonna have the sound. I know how they're doing it. It's so formulaic. I haven't seen it. It's gonna be cut to leaf blower noise.
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's of course.
Never seems to last quite long enough for Judy Walton.
They are just dirty machines and cause a lot of health harms.
She's a founding member of Quiet Clean Alliance in Portland, Oregon. Last year, her group convinced the city council to ban gas-powered leaf blowers.
Well, good for Judy,
Joining more than 150 other communities.
What? That's Houston. What? Where is this? This is news indeed. Look at this little dot in the Houston area. Where the fuck is that? We're going to have to look this up, right?
In the U.S. that have either banned or restricted their use.
This is a real grassroots organization, pardon the pun.
Yes, that's right. And we're not on familiar turf either.
What you did there.
For Walton,
Awful.
limiting noise, air pollution.
And, this is always typically what it is, right? So if we go back here, don't want to listen to it. You know what? Let me just mute it for a second. It's so obnoxious, right? It's a picture thing. So again, clearly it's just so many leaves and everybody would be dead if you left it there, right? Like, this isn't even that many leaves. Like, why are we wasting our time and money on it? People are like, oh, it costs more to, well, I don't even know if that's the case because a lot of these people, they get paid by the hour. So all they end up doing is just going around in circles. If you told this guy, use a fucking rake, okay, like, why is that? It's a parking lot. It's a flat surface, right? You could put all of this in a big pile in literally 3 seconds. You use a big plastic rake, those 20 whatever inches or 30 inches. It's very quick. I mean, I used to do the big lawn I had back in Bel Air. I use a big ass. I still have the same rake, and it would be very quick. It's a lot faster on even a flat surface or not flat surface. These things are not that effective. That's the other thing people don't get is, oh, well, I'm just standing there and it feels like I'm doing it, but you're not. And the only advantage it has is it looks cleaner if you just get every square inch and you just blow it into the air. And it's like, well, that's not cleaning. So you actually aren't cleaning anymore. You're just You can see the dust clouds over here, I think, or is that shadows? Well, it's shadows, but often there will be dust that's just blown in the air. That's not cleaning. That's not cleaning. If you rake it, most of that dust is not kicked into the air,
Public health made this a worthy cause.
People think the noise is just annoying, but it actually has real harms on the human body.
This 2019 study found that low frequencies emitted from gas-powered leaf blowers can travel over long
Yeah, I need a study to tell me that.
distances.
Yeah. I can look out my window and barely see the crew 1,000 feet away, and I can still hear it.
Easily penetrating walls.
Yeah,
the
it does.
equipment raises concerns over adverse health impacts, such as higher blood pressure and heart rate
Yeah,
and
well,
poor
I can
sleep.
feel that.
The sound of an electric leaf blower, while still loud, has less low frequency in it
Okay, this is the other thing. Oh, well, it's better, so use that. It's like it's a high-pitched screeching that's like a whistle in your
and
ear.
does not travel nearly as far.
Starting from zero and having to change out your equipment.
Again, this is always the false bullshit dichotomy they do as well. Sorry, battery-powered leaf blowers, they're just much more expensive. Well, ban both of them. Fuck off. They're both annoying. Use a rake. Again, whenever they have this file footage or whatever for leaf blowers, notice how it's never anything like, okay, well, a rake can do that. No, it's always some petty bullshit of, oh, here's a small pile of leaves that either don't need to be moved at all, or if it starts to be an issue in the fall like here, just use a rake. It's not that. And again, people would save money if they didn't get out these stupid fucking crews every day, even in the summer here, there are no leaves in the summer. I mean, we did the whole thing where I didn't rake this whole place since there was a hailstorm here in early June. What I had to do is because of I had some crew come out here to cut down a bunch of dead trees, and they used my driveway to saw everything up. And I told them not to blow anything, so there was a lot of wood shavings on the driveway. Even with that, all I had to do is the general spot where I back up into the driveway, I cleared it with a rake, 2 or 3. I put it in the corner, and I used a broom to push the wood shavings off the side. So I don't track as much crap into the car. Okay, and that's, again, with basically my driveway acting as a lumber mill. I had to do 2 minutes of work from June to now to at least clear out part of the driveway so it's a little bit less, tracks in less dirt on the, right. And that's, again, with my driveway used as a lumber mill when they were cutting out half the trees here. All right? So if you look at it that way and say, no, there doesn't need to be a standard called your driveway is completely spec-free, because, again, the only way you can do that is by blowing the dust in the air. It's stupid. There's no need to clear every driveway at all times. So functionally, I haven't done very much on the driveway since June. And these every day, every week, you see a house getting this service done. So when people are like, oh, it would cost so much more to use a rake, nobody bothers to do the calculations. And number two, even if it costs twice as much, if it's twice as much labor to use a rake and a broom, well, okay, only use it half as much. You don't need it in the summer at all. So it's like you're still spending more money. It's one of these things that feels like it saves money to have somebody come out every 2 weeks and, oh, they're using an efficient tool. But again, the efficiency would be to not use any of this in the summer, for example. Okay? Like maybe in the spring, depending on what's falling, because the trees are always a little different, but maybe once or twice in the fall. I mean, again, last year the insanity was, I think it was late December, early January, where right before a rain, I finally raked everything up. And it's like, okay, right, that's exactly how it works. Is it took all that until January to do any cleanup because there was just no need for it. And all these people, every 2 weeks, every week, let's get somebody out here blowing, making noise, and we give them, what, $30, $40? What a waste of fucking time and money.
How come?
And again, this goes to the false dichotomy of, well, we can't ban gas blowers because the electric ones they're just too expensive with the batteries. Well, ban the whole fucking thing.
Complicated will that be for people?
It's not complicated, it's expensive.
Sean Tripp should know. His landscaping company
He's a noisy asshole.
switched to electric leaf blowers when customers
Yeah, you can hear they've muted or they've reduced the volume. It's now a high-pitched screech, and maybe it doesn't travel as far. It still is obnoxious. Again, why is this the standard? Oh, we have to have 100% clean sidewalks, because the only way to achieve that is to blow the dust into the air, which is not cleaning. Again, if there's enough leaves so people could trip, you know, especially after a heavy rain. Okay, that's too many leaves, but that is such a rare occurrence that you could spend the more money on rakes and stuff, right? You would still save money that way.
Customers began asking for the service and were willing to pay a premium for it. That's because an electric machine costs about $1,500, roughly 3 times more than gas. But he also needed industrial strength batteries and a trailer that could keep.
Yeah, poor landscapers, you know, let's play the violin music, you know. Their job of blowing dust around is harder. Don't blow the dust in the first place. This is one of my pet peeves is, well, we got to go green, so let's have poisonous batteries everywhere. You know, that's what green is. It's like, no, a rake is green, and using it judiciously, using it rarely, only when it's needed. And there is no problem with a few stray leaves on the ground. Absolutely none. You know, and my pet peeve is, we haven't seen it yet, but when people start blowing at their lawns, it's like, just mow it down with a lawnmower. It's free fertilizer. You know, people, well, you know, we got to use gas blowers to blow at the turf. And then that grass has holes and patches in it. I wonder why. Ugh, idiots.
Those batteries charged all day.
So how many of these setups like this did you have to make?
We have currently 5 of these setups in total.
It's a big investment.
A huge investment.
And
yeah, rakes cost $20. Again, like, what is the purpose of this? You know, if you want to not have, like, again, this shows once again the file footage of, well, we just have to do this. Why? Well, how many leaves are there to blow this?
Tripp says electric blowers have less power.
And by the time it's in a pile like that, you know, it's not really, if it was spread out all over, it wouldn't be that much. You know, like, it simply wouldn't be that much.
Okay, we're going to do a little test here, see which one has more power.
Again, this is so obnoxious. Well, battery versus gas. It's like, neither. Use a rake if you have to use anything. Using nothing is almost always the correct solution. Number 2, use a rake. And because you save so much money and time not wasting, wagging that boomstick around, then you will have enough money for using manual labor for a rake, for fuck's sake.
Gas versus electric.
Gas is on the left, electric is on the right.
Again, but why do this many leaves? Again, so what they did was they put all the leaves in the parking lot into a big pile, most likely. And if you were to spread these many leaves out, it's not a fucking problem. There's no need to touch any of this. So, here's some fake tests as to how we can get these leaves from one corner to the other. I don't care. It's not my problem that, it's twice as labor intense. I don't want the externality of me punching my face into the wall every time because it's so obnoxious to listen to these things. Why is that not valued? You know, why is my time not valued at all? Why is it that people, again, if your neighbor was like, well, you know, it's a little too hard to put the trash into a garbage can and roll it out or whatever into, I'm just going to throw it to my neighbor's house. Well, that's more effective. Is it more effective to throw garbage into a neighbor's yard than to roll it out? Yeah, it is. It's like, I don't care though, right? Like, that's not the point. Oh, God, it's awful.
We saw that gas had more power to push the weight of a pile of leaves. And power is something landscapers and golf course superintendents brought up during the vote.
Okay, I'm sorry if there's 3 leaves on the ground. It doesn't matter.
Leaf blowers are not yet powerful enough. Insufficient power.
Technology is close, but we are not 100%.
Yeah, we don't have the technology to force 300-mile hurricane force winds out of a boomstick. So why do you need to do that? Yeah, that's never questioned of why do we need to be pushing these stupid leaves around.
Apples to apples at this point.
How can you tell somebody to not use the best
I hope she has a good zinger.
tool available?
If that best tool available has impacts on our environment, on
Externalities. Good point, Judy.
human health, and there's an alternative available that won't break the bank, that's reasonable to ask.
Portland's ban will phase in. over 2 years starting in January. A change that feels like a burden for some, but will sound like progress for others.
Not really. I mean, again, especially if the standard is every surface has to be clear of dust, which then goes in the air. If that's the standard, and then people are like, well, we have to use electric because they get, okay, so now you are spending twice as much time out there with an electric blower. And then, okay, it's slightly less annoying because it's not, okay, but you're doing it twice as much. So what are you saving, right? This is why I'm against these seasonal bans and these only gas bans, because, again, the point is a sidewalk doesn't have to be, completely clean of all debris. This is a false standard that gives us the false dichotomy of, oh, it's got to be gas versus electric and brr, 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 because it would take a long time to sweep every leaf off the side. You don't have to sweep every leaf. You can just get 95% of the leaves with a rake and leave the rest. Because again, 5 minutes later, even if you do a gas blower, 5 minutes later, you're going to have the same amount of leaves as you would have if you just raked it off the side or you put in a bag or something, okay? The fact that people are this retarded that they can't get this slightly counterintuitive thinking down, it's just that's really what bothers me, the idiots,
For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm David Schechter in Portland, Oregon.
I get it. When I had a house, I tried the battery-powered one, didn't really work, and you just want to get it done, and you want to say, well...
No, but you don't have to get it done. You just leave it there, okay? Again, here, there's trees everywhere. It's called the fucking woodlands, okay? And again, on the driveway, there was one time last year that I had to rake the leaves. One time. I didn't slip on the leaves. My car didn't slip. Snakes didn't jump out at me. One fucking time. And we have the video somewhere. It took 10 minutes. It took more time to bag the leaves, as you should anyways, because again, if the premise is, oh, we'll just blow it out into the streets as half the people do, it's like, okay, well, I could rake them out into the street too. Well, that's somebody else's fucking problem then. But if you're saying, okay, even with the blowers, we're going to put them in a pile and then put them in a bag, because some people do that. Okay, well, then we're only counting the time to rake, time to blow, and that's really not much more, especially if you look at the frequency of it. I had to do it once in a year. Once, maybe in the spring later, but in terms of from summer on to, that was one time that I had to use the rake. Since June, since the hailstorm, again, I had to do it for 2-3 minutes to move the leaves from one side of the car. And again, after my driveway was used as a lumber mill, I swept some of the shavings off. That one time for 2-3 minutes from June to October. And then I'm sure it'll be probably December or whatever when I rake stuff up. And it also depends on the wind. Sometimes the wind blows these stuff out of the way too. Some years you just don't have anything because the wind is so much. There's not enough rain to press the leaves down. You don't have to do much at all. So this, oh, I have to do it. No, you don't. This is this weird standard people have of, oh, it's got to be clean of leaves 24/7. And then, oh, I'm saving so much time. It's like, no, you're not saving any time because you don't have to do this job. This is just busy work.
Well, I'll be good for the environment here. Can I just not be as good over here?
You know, what's good for the environment is leaving leaves to compost into the soil, okay? You dumb bitch.
Because you want the leaves moved.
No.
How about a
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to fucking move them. I've done the fucking video here. Let's do it now. Let's turn around. We have the camera here. I can't see it, but hopefully, well, I can kind of look at the monitor here. Okay. Is there too much sun down here? Well, there's too much reflections and stuff, but the point is, this is the yard, okay? Trees everywhere, right? And you look down there, and shockingly, let's close this. You know, even though I've lived here for now 6 years, okay, the backyard here, despite having leaves everywhere, this is gonna fall over. Despite living here for 6 years, and the leaves keep falling every year, and then in the spring, and then everywhere, shockingly, I don't have 17 feet of leaves. I have not raked anything in there. I haven't even raked anything. Because the leaves, once they end up drying out, if you take a dry leaf, you crumple it up, there's nothing in there. Most of it's water. So once you allow for it to dry out, it becomes the soil, okay? And it's not an issue. It's not an issue. There isn't, 3,000 feet of leaves here, okay? Because it just becomes the soil. Lots of leaves are falling here. I can see the shadows now, right? Today is a leafy day, okay? It's not a problem. So I have to get rid of the leaves. It's like, this is not a toxic poison that you have to remove. This is the environment. And again, on sidewalks, if it's too much, okay, you can do it once or twice a year when it becomes an issue where it's too much. And then you can spend the slightly more money for the slightly more labor that's required. But then you don't do it every week or every 2 weeks. Oh my God.
Break.
More manpower, more hours, really hard work.
Yeah, but you get to work.
Yeah, it's really hard work. The video where it takes me 10 minutes to rake up the dry, it's just super hard work. Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah.
Work out in.
You do.
You do, and maybe keep it in your pocket.
But then if you're hiring somebody to do it, again, more manpower, more hours.
I don't know.
Yeah, it took me 10 minutes. So for a whole season's worth of leaves, it's just. And again, that's on the driveway. Yeah, you don't want to slip on that, fine. But for most other places, it doesn't fucking matter. And I even use the yard back here because I'm sunbathing probably today as well. So it's like, okay, it's not in the way. It's really not a big issue once you stop pretending it is. Now, let's read some of the soul-destroying, crushing comments that'll make you lose your faith in humanity. So let's go read through that. Okay, the first comment's pretty good. Let's move this over. We actually don't need this chunk. Let's make this a little bigger. Perfect. It just seems odd that people pay money to play tennis, golf, and work out in a gym when they could get their exercise doing their own yard work and shoveling their own walk. Now, to be fair, I think it's overdone, but yeah, it's a strange thing, Let me pay money for the gym. Let me pay money for somebody to shovel the snow in some places, right? It's like you could just do one and then, right. Again, this is just suburbanite values of being retarded. Obviously, not everyone is physically able to do this, but in my neighborhood, I'm surrounded by healthy young professionals, many with strong teen children, that pay a lot of money for landscaping companies. Meanwhile, I'm the stubborn old boomer who enjoys being outside and occasionally sweating a bit. A rake and a consumer-grade electric blower. Okay, well, I don't like this guy now, but point taken, and there we go. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, opportunity cost. People are playing on their phones for 17 hours a day, but the opportunity cost. If I don't pay this guy, then I don't get to play on my phone and play Candy Crush. Opportunity cost, fuck off, right? Aside from the leaf blowers, fallen leaves are not litter. Hey, this guy sounds like me. It is very beneficial not to remove them from lawns until springtime. Yes, or again, crush them up and put them in the soil as fertilizer. Do nature's job for it very quickly. And then you can have your lawn. It won't be dead from lots of leaves. And then you still have fertilizer. Back in Bel Air, I used to do that in December because there would be a very slow growth of the lawn from around this time when it started getting a little bit cold early November. And then by mid-December, you'd have all the leaves fall, and there still would be a little enough growth in the lawn to where it made sense to mow it again. And that's often what I would do in December. I would do a final sort of dormant mow to get rid of the leaves and to cut back the lawn a little bit. And it worked perfectly. There were years where I still raked the leaves, which was stupid, but that was quick too. I was sure that the person complaining was going to look exactly like that. Well, again, I don't know what that means. Like, some people don't like noise. What do I look? Do I look like an old lady? Okay. Scout EV cleared over 2,000 acres of forest for their new plant in Blythewood, South Carolina. They caused an estimated $60 million in environmental damage. I'm convinced that EVs and battery-powered equipment is nothing more than virtue signaling. Okay, so I think some EV factory was, yeah, I mean, it's like whenever they clear the forest to put up solar cells or windmill type things, and it's like, oh, it's so green. It's like you just destroyed a forest, right? So, element AFO, I couldn't even make this up. It's something that would be put into movies. I don't know what exists. It's ridiculous that people complain about, I don't know, inordinate amount of noise all the time. Okay. Hate to tell that old lady, but used up batteries are just as bad, if not worse, for the environment. Well, that she was suggesting rakes. It was the stupid reporters who were setting up this false dichotomy between gas blowers and electric blowers. She was suggesting using rakes and brooms. Reporters creating a false dichotomy. All right, well, that was fun. You could always bring a diesel-powered generator to a job site to charge the batteries. Now, again, the craziest thing I've seen is right across here, there's a subdivision. When I was walking there, I saw an old man who had a battery, who had a corded electric blower, and it was stuck into one of those emergency mobile power stations, like the Blue Eddy that I have. It was a little bit bigger than that. It was like on these rolly wheels. And it was like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen. You have an electric blower into some diesel power. I think it was diesel as well. It wasn't an electric one. It was like a diesel chugging thing. It's like, how long does it take to chug that out of the garage, stick it in, and right? That was the most, and again, people just invent these Rube Goldberg machines to make the most complex task. Oh, it saves so much money to get an electric blower, stick it into a diesel-powered generator, put it on wheels, so you could puff at the curb. There were no leaves then, okay? It's like you could have literally used your hands to faster pick up those leaves, because again, you're just blowing, you're not picking up anyways. Anyways, people do that. People are that dumb. Great, more arbitrary laws. That's what this country needs. Yeah, we just need noise everywhere. That's what we need, is just noise 24/7 so you cannot enjoy your own home. How about a mulching blade on your mower? This breaks down the leaves enough to feed the grass and other near... Yeah, well, that's you don't need a mulching blade. Just any blade does a decent job. It has never bothered me ever. I enjoy the sound of people working. Well, they can work with a broom and a rake. There we go. I despise the sound of leaf blowers and those that use them for hours early in the morning or any time because they're always annoying. Long live the two-strokes. Yeah, a third-world technology that is probably even banned there. Let's have that here. Let's sniff the gas and the dust in the air. They've been banned in the city I live since '97, but most people, including landscaper, don't realize they're illegal. Well, in that case, they're not really illegal, right? So yeah, there's lots of these paper tiger bans where, oh, it's on paper, it's written down, but it's not enforced. Well, yeah, this is another thing. The other public nuisance that needs to be enforcement is illegally modified exhaust on vehicles and motor. Yeah, you hear it all the time here. It's just such a shithole. Right, known for, yeah, absolutely. Next, they'll complain about the leaves on it. Nope. We don't complain about those because they're mostly not a problem, and the few times they are, you can just use a rake and be a big boy about it. You know, if people only know how much earth has to be moved out of the ground with a hybrid electric diesel power shovel to make a Tesla car battery. Again, I'm not in favor of that. Not in favor of it. I'm in favor of hand-powered rakes, you know, powered by humans. Electric versus gas is a false dichotomy. Rakes can be used as or brooms. single leaf every single hour of the... There we go. The government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. Okay. Well, again, it's just this kind of conservative platitudes where it's like, okay, how do you deal with externalities, right? Like, okay, if someone's raping or robbing and they're committing crimes, well, but we don't want the government. It's like, well, kind of, you know, what else is there, right? So same thing with externalities. How do you deal with the fact that it's constant noise? I don't want the federal government kicking doors down, but it'd be nice if there was a local government and there was enough of a community anywhere where people are like, yeah, this is kind of obnoxious. Let's not do this all day long. The world has bigger problems. Put some damn earplugs in. I love these people. It's like, well, you know, they're starving in Africa, so you have to listen to noise. Like, no connection there. Zero connection. It's just this dismissive asshole behavior. And earplugs don't work, right? Like, the problem isn't the, you know, if you're at an airport, you might have those earmuffs in, or if you're at a gun range, you know, you might have that's for protection, right? My point is, I'm not going to get hearing loss, right? I'm not going to get hearing loss because there's a super annoying sound 500 feet down the road. It's not that I'm going to get hearing loss. It's fucking annoying. You know, if you have a mosquito in your ear, that's not going to cause you hearing loss, idiot. Maybe brain loss has been caused. You know, maybe he was sniffing so much gasoline in that he got some brain loss from that, okay? So if you have tinnitus or whatever it's called, where you have a ringing in your ear, the big problem with that for people is not that, oh, it's so loud and, oh, I'm getting hearing loss. No, it's annoying. You don't have to have a loud sound for it to be fucking annoying and intolerable. And it's torture. Okay? Let's see here. There's always something to complain about. It's like, yeah, that's right, you know. The guy's going to complain about everything else, though, I'm sure, yeah. Right. Now, this is very interesting because most of the landscapers, including some more people here, are just annoying landscapers who just love it. But as a landscaper, I hated the noise of leaf blowers. That's interesting. Echo charged $80 for a brand new muffler, a small metal box with nothing in it. I didn't even know they had mufflers. I kept the noise to a minimum, blowing out the beds and then mulching the leaves. I mowed parks, airports, factories, and the like. Backpack blowers were the loudest, most obnoxious equipment I owned, and they had to operate right next to the building. So that's interesting because most of the landscapers are like, herder, I'm an asshole, and it's my personality. You know, this guy isn't. That's interesting. There's a tool that moves leaves at 3 times the rate of leaf blowers. It costs less than 5% of what a leaf blower costs, and it's 10,000 times quieter. Now, I would say that's probably true based on how people actually use leaf blowers, based on the fact that, again, they go in the same circle 20 times. You know, only if you judge it by the ground has to be spotless, and you blow all the dirt in the air, only then would a leaf blower actually be judged to be better. You know, because it would take longer with a broom to sweep it completely. But again, that shouldn't be the standard. It's fine if the ground has dirt on it. It's perfectly fine if there's specks of ground of dirt on it. I'd much rather have it down on the ground than up in the air and in my nose, okay, or my lungs. Or, you know, if there's a close leaf blower by your windows and the car, it's just caked in dirt all the time. You know, are they going to pay for that? That's an externality. Are they going to pay for my car washing? No? Okay. Usual suspect every time complain. Yeah, again, I don't know what that means. Like people who don't like noisy shit behavior. Oh, they're complaining. Yeah, they are. Good for them. For people with high blood pressure, it's rough. Plus, if you live in an apartment complex all day, 1 day a week is too much noise that even walls barely muffle. Try a rake, then a big suction device gathering it into a truck for mulching. Now, I would actually say that a apartment, oh, that's a bunch of leaves falling. I think we can even see it here. Can we see the leaves fall? You can see it falling. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. How ironic enough. We're going to be just destroyed by all the leaves falling. But I would say an apartment complex that has 1 day a week is actually better because you can actually plan around that. You know, you could talk to the people there. You kind of know their schedule, you know, and then it's like, oh, okay, so I'll just take a day off on a Wednesday. Even if you're working from home, great. That'll be the one day where I'm somewhere else. At least you could plan for it. The problem with the bullshit single family suburb nonsense like here is you can never plan for it. It's always there. You never know when exactly. It honestly feels like it. I've described it as, you know, like an electric shock collar. You know it's going to go off at some point, but you don't even know when. It's just so awful. I call for ICE to deport every gas-powered leaf blower. Well, that's a conservative solution to what a lot of other conservatives pretend only liberals care about. Because again, it's interesting how these issues become so partisan. You know, it's like what conservatives don't have, don't have ears. Like I would consider myself a lot more right-wing on a lot of issues, and it's like what I'm supposed to be a liberal now because I don't like obnoxious noise. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Okay. All right. I find the electric ones just as obnoxious, if not more so. Well, I agree. F the noise, charge the employees that work for homeowners who don't care to pick up their debris and blow it into the street when homeowners are at work. Yeah, a lot of them do that too, which is like, okay, oh, it's so much faster when, again, you don't have to, when it's an externality and now all the crap is in the street. Yeah. Right. I see their carelessness while I'm driving either with my washed car or with my windows down. Yeah, that's what I just said, is you cannot have, there's no point in ever washing your car very thoroughly because the dust just settles on it. Get a life. Yeah, I mean, get a life leaf blower, people, absolutely. Some people, yeah, the ones, yeah. The ones ruining ours with noisy blowers all day long. There we go. Neighbor has a gardening business that uses electric blowers connected by a 100-foot cord to a screaming gas generator. Some people need more to do, Judy. Yeah, the people, yeah, they need to use a rake, absolutely. As a former landscaper, I see, yeah, it's just these casual assholes who just laugh at your suffering and misery. It's like every sadist becomes either a dentist or a landscaper, you know? In California, they banned gas-powered blowers like 10 years. It was less. They can't buy it. Well, yeah, because all they did was they banned the sale of gas blowers in California. And that wasn't 10 years ago. It was a few years ago. You can still buy it in another state. You could use the ones you already have. So it's like, oh, okay. Right. Portland residents, you're worried about lawn equipment, but you're fine with nonstop protests. Best of luck to you. Well, look, I get that. I mean, that's one of these things of liberals want to have, like, oh, I want walkable cities. And it's like, well, you know, you can't have criminals around. You can't have people, you know, firebombing certain facilities. So, you know, yeah, how about is there a place that, like, doesn't have leaf blowers, doesn't have crazy people firebombing things? I'd move there, but again, it's either, yeah, it all sucks. People complain little noises of gas lever blower, this generation too. You know, people are younger, so it's these low IQ sadistic people who are like, oh, it's not a problem. It's like, it is a problem for me. Other people don't get to tell me this is not a problem. It is. Right? What's next? Well, electric mowers. Back in Bel Air for a long time, I had a push mower, like a real mower, REEL, like those combine harvesters. You know, so all these people are like, oh, it's just pussies who can't hear this. It's like pussies. I used a real mower like it's the 50s. You know? Like, I love this tough guy talk from people who stand there being fat, just pointing at things. Oh, I'm a tough man because I stand. It's like, no, you're a fat pig who can't be bothered to, you know, put a little bit of work into things. And who can't be smart to figure out it takes less time if you're not retarded about it. You know, if you don't have OCD and have the need to clear every fucking leaf out of the driveway or places. Anyways. Landscaping companies, especially in the Northeast, cannot afford to turn their entire fleets over to electric. You'll wipe out an entire industry. Okay, just use a broom, use a rake. End of story. Like, what were people doing in the 70s? Were people mass murdered by leaves every year? This is this is impossible. Until the 80s, nobody really was using these things. You know? Were people dying? Were people going bankrupt trying to clear out their driveways with a rake? Was this 80% of people's time in the 70s? No, people said, okay, the leaves are getting too much this season, maybe even 2 times a season. All right, let's spend, an hour as a family and then jump in the leaves, and then the dog yells about it, and it's a nice montage scene for a sitcom or something. Like, that's what people used to do. So these imagined things, it's going to destroy everything. It's like, no, it's not. It's literally use a fucking rake twice a season and you're done with it. Or hire people. And even if like the 1 or 2 times you have to hire people to manually do that, it costs a little more. You save more money when they're not out here every other week in the summer doing jack shit except blowing dust around. Won't break the bank. Lady, I don't know what gold blue feminist spoon you're eating from, but 1,500 is 2 weeks. Okay. Were people bankrupt in the 70s using, let's put 1970s, that's more, using rakes and brooms? Was 80% of their free time dedicated to landscaping? Again, it's just people invent these scenarios of, oh my God, I'm going to go bankrupt if I have to use a rake. Like, it costs less. And again, you don't have to do it 3 times a day. You do it once a season like I did. Or twice a season. It's fine. You don't have to have a spotless concrete driveway 24/7. It's so frustrating dealing with these dumb people. We're an entitled, spoiled society. Yes, people who want to make noise and ruin everyone's, let's see, people who want to make noise and ruins everyone's quiet time are, in fact, very entitled and spoiled. And again, it's always this projection is, oh, how dare you demand, quiet? It's like, no, I'm not the one ruining things with that. These, and again, it's 100% this person means it about people who are like, I don't want noise all day long, right? Absolute trash people, absolute trash, right? But we need a leaf blower for those people. We need to blow them away. Yeah, again, the low IQ platitudes of the sadistic. First world problem, get over it. It's like, no, it's not a first world problem. If you have, right, noise all day long is not a first world anymore. It turns any nice place into a, shithole, into a shit. Not to sound too presidential, right? Noise all day long is not a first world problem. Since it turns any nice place into a shithole, not to sound too presidential. Yeah. Again, it's just these stupid platitudes. It's a first world problem. It's like any problem in the U.S. is going to be technically a first world problem, right? Because everyone's rich compared to the rest of the world. So you can't complain about anything. And again, to what degree is it a first world if it's constant noise? If you can't ever really relax on your patio or your porch or anywhere, you can't be outside because it's constant noise. At what point is it actually not a first world? Anyways. I use my leaf blower weekly. I use a rake and broom. I literally had to use it once last season. You're overdoing it and pretending to save time, money, while just creating a noise problem for everyone else. Please stop ruining your neighborhood. Reply. So yeah, again, it's, oh, I do it every week. It's like, but you're overdoing it then. I guarantee it, if you're doing it weekly, that's your cadence, you're overdoing it. You're not saving yourself any time and money. If you hire people every week, you're not saving money. If you're doing it yourself every week or every other day, as some people like to do, you're not saving yourself any time and money. You know, you're pretending because your standard is everything has to be spotless. It doesn't. No one needs to have dust in the air at all times. That is not cleaning anyways. Oh my God. Okay. So here's a good comment. And I think, you know, we've done 45 minutes. Holy shit. Well, I haven't done a leaf blower video in a while. So, you know, the leaf dust particulate blowers are always aimed toward the streets and other properties. I have been hit by their dust clouds while driving. The law should require leaf blowers to blow no, the law should require leaf blowers to go to hell. Well, the problem is, yeah, I get it. Like it's you blow it towards it. Well, the way the hurricane force winds work from that is it just ends up blowing it everywhere. So, you know, I get that, but, and this is why I'm not a fan of this. Oh, well, fine, we'll compromise a little bit, just blow it to the, no. It's still noisy then. The dust is still going to settle everywhere else. It's a massive externality. Rakes and brooms exist. That's much easier in the long term if you're smart about it. In a slightly annoying way, but there is one company that has truly removed all the mufflers from their equipment. It's insanely loud, much louder than the other companies. Right. When the loud crew shows up, even inside my house with the windows closed, and I can't hear my conference calls anymore. Remember, these people are crying about, oh, it's going to cost me more money. If I can't do my job in my home, why are they going to write me a check? So again, it's just the only concern that matters are people making noise, you know. Oh, it's too loud. It would cost too much for us. And how much, you know, it's hard to put a number on the quality of life issues surrounded with shitty leaf blowers, but it's there. And again, that never is part of the calculation. You know, never part of the calculation. Right. 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 Yeah, again, it's just this weird stuff of, oh, I bet she drives a Prius. It's like, okay, maybe she does. It is Portland. And again, that's the insane part of this. Is you have these low IQ conservatives yelling about things. And it's like, well, who isn't a liberal in Portland? Right? It's like, well, I have a good guess. She's from Portland. Yeah, everyone's a liberal there. Thank you. And that's another thing that the low IQ conservatives don't get a lot of the times is, okay, so you have there are no conservatives in Portland. So why is it that even in Portland, it's hard to ban these things? And that's, I'm sure, why you have low IQ liberals there, which is all these people bleating about, oh, the environment. And the one fucking thing called leaf blower, they can't even do that. You know, blowing dust into the air is not good for the environment called my lungs. You know, blowing all the topsoil off of things at hurricane force winds, even with the electric ones, that's not good for the environment. So I'm sure they have, you know, the liberal places have their low IQ liberal versions as well, just like this idiot, you know. That's really the main problem here. It's a low IQ problem. Right? Okay, a few more. It's all the more annoying when all they do is blow the leaves away when the wind blows them back right where they were the next day. If you're going to blow, might as well bag them up too. Some people do bag them up. Some people don't, you know. And it always takes more time to bag the leaves, okay, regardless of anything else. which is why a lot of people are tempted to blow it into the streets. And it's like, well, of course that's cheaper and faster, but then it's everyone else's problem even more so. I'd rather listen to leaf blowers than an obnoxious exhaust from a motorcycle or vehicle. Well, why compromise with either? Both of these are annoying. People being people, complaining about the most basic things must be so rough. Yeah, it is. Again, it's just these low IQ, sadistic people who don't seem to understand that it is an issue for a lot of people. Yeah, don't worry about failing infrastructure, lack of healthcare, or national debt. Again, why are these things like mutually exclusive? All of these things are a quality of life issue. All of these things are problems. Why is it that if you say on a very local level, I don't want to listen to noise all day long, then, well, I guess lack of health. It's like, these are not connected. You can complain about all of these things, Worry about your neighbors working in the middle. Again, the working is not my problem. Again, if they were using rakes and brooms, I would not be complaining about people working in the middle of the day. It's the fucking noise. It's the unnecessary amount of noise. America's a joke. Well, I think we might agree. I think a lot of modernity is a joke, absolutely. And landscaping fees go through the roof. Okay, so again, maybe you don't need somebody brooming your sidewalk twice a week, right? Maybe if you only did it when you had to, you could spend a little more for that one episode of them coming out, as opposed to the people coming out in the summer twice a month or once a week even. That often happens, Oh, yeah, just super smart people. Herder, you exist. Okay. Right. Now, the lowest common denominators and their bizarre need to listen to music so loud it literally shakes the windows of the homes. Again, another nuisance issue. And again, I think a lot of this is a lack of any community everywhere. It sucks everywhere. So, anyways, on that joyful note, yeah, again, it's the same thing. You don't need to do this. It's overkill. It's overdone. Leaves are fine for the most part. The few times they're not, you can use a rake. Even if it costs more for that one time, you'll save a lot of money by not doing it 24/7. And that is what we're going to conclude on. Thank you for your attention to this matter.